don't get obsolete. They're just not as good as the new machines pretty rapidly. I did have a chance to meet with the Prime Minister both in Switzerland and here for breakfast today, and talked to the Finance Minister yesterday. And the key themes there were talking about the opportunities for India and what kind of investments would help India realize those opportunities. I certainly thanked both gentlemen for the direction they're taking on the software duty, bringing that down to a zero duty, which I think is not only helpful but sends a strong message about the country's desire to embrace technology. Another topic, two other topics were the telecommunications network and some of the opportunities there, and then education and what's going on in other countries and how India might benefit from some of the lessons there.
Spoke about the NC vis-a-vis the PC still being higher in terms of cost of ownership. But I think as part of your vision, you're talking about making the PC much more intelligent, whether it's adding voice recognition or any of those things or multimedia. So how far do you think you'll be able to assist in keeping the cost of ownership low?
Well, there's some dramatic things that'll happen to bring the cost of ownership down. That'll make it easier to manage PCs in a large network. As the PCs become more natural to work with, including things like speech recognition, the cost of ownership will get incredibly low. That is, the machine itself will be able to use the network to always get the up-to-date software and automatically detect any problems that it's having. The beauty of technology is we can use technology to hide its complexity. And so even though the chips will have millions of transistors and the speed will be blindingly fast, people won't have to think about the details of the software that's inside there. And so the PC has improved in ease of use for a particular task every year. And with speech, you'll see a dramatic improvement there.
I do appreciate everybody taking the time, having patience. I think we have time for 3 more questions. I'll try to address as many of the people who had their hands up as possible. Excuse me, sir. Please. Question with Anu, please.
After Imagine the Magic contest, what future plans do you have for Indian school children?
Yeah, Imagine the Magic was a contest where we asked young kids to think about what the computer could be with no technological constraints. And we had over 40,000 entries, and I got to meet the 8 winners today and see their submissions and talk to them about some of the things they're doing, and they all get a computer and a trip to Microsoft headquarters. That's obviously just to highlight the kind of creativity that you can have around the personal computer. Our real important programs have to do with very special pricing of software for educational institutions and helping them fit the computer more and more into the curriculum. And those are things that we're expanding.
Gentleman there, please.
Speeds, there are a lot of regulatory issues for...
We can't hear you. Can you sit on, please?
It's on.
There are a lot of regulatory issues about the spread of internet with regard to developing countries. And we also have talked about telecom and other infrastructure facilities with Prime Minister and Finance Minister. What do you think these issues will hamper internet growth in developing countries?
Well, the communications network will be the limiting factor in terms of the use of the internet. And so the countries that invest in that network in the best way will see the benefits of the internet more rapidly than other countries. And so it is a major issue. But the miracle of the chip and optic fiber mean that even fairly modest investments are going to be able to increase the network capacity quite substantially. So hooking up universities and large businesses and giving them a great internet connection, that's very achievable in the next couple of years. Hooking up the rest of the schools and even the small and medium businesses will take a lot more time, and then hooking up people at home will take even a longer time after that. But those are all worthy goals that there's a clear focus on here in India about even what the concrete elements are that are going to accelerate that process.
Nothing has happened. So if and how is Microsoft planning to tap this market so that it can start operations from here and export software, tapping the internal software market?
Well, a key role that we play is making sure that the developers here have access to the latest information and tools and excellent support. And we've just in the last year put in programs to provide for that. I mean, that is fundamental so that the developers here are on the same basis as the developers in the United States and in other countries. When you think of the software industry in India, it's important to think of three things. A lot of people will be having software projects done here in the country, but just on a project basis. A lot of people will have software support done here in the country using the internet. And then there's companies building products themselves. And the first two of those will be the thing that really drives it for the next 2 or 3 years. There are some examples of companies doing products. I mentioned earlier Ramco, and there's a number of others. But that will tend to follow having a huge amount of outsourced development and a huge amount of outsourced support. Because if you look at the software industry as a whole, actually the number of people doing software support is more than the number of people doing software development. And so it's important to, when you're looking at creating lots and lots of jobs, it's important to be in all of those areas.
Gentlemen up here.
Mr. Gates, I have 2 questions. First is, what are the...
You want to go ahead and name the 5?
Sure. Already.
Yeah, I am IIT, the 3 IITs, and IISc. IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, and IIT Madras.
To lead, they have to set the example by themselves, sitting down at the keyboard, writing messages and answering their messages in an efficient way, and allowing any employee in the company who has a comment to be able to send mail to them, or even customers who have some complaint or idea to be able to send mail as well. So it's a very democratic tool. It lets you get a better sense of what's going on. I certainly couldn't do my job without rich electronic mail. It's just so fundamental to the way we work. I think a CEO in this new age not only needs to be a hands-on user, but also needs to rethink how their business will be done. Major businesses like banking, insurance, even retailing will have a very different approach as consumers start to live a lifestyle where they're using the internet regularly on a daily basis. Now this will take, the full impact of this to be felt will take over 20 years. But it's not too soon for CEOs to be preparing their company, particularly if they're a company that works with a young audience or sells to the more developed communities. And so I think an infotech CEO will be an evangelist for great applications of information technology, and always making sure they know what their competitors are doing to use information technology so they're not getting out ahead of them.
Great. Thanks, Bill. On that note, I'd like to close this press conference. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you.